This is an addendum to the broadcast on the first quarter of 2011, but actually what we're doing is an overview for the entire year, explaining the dominant aspects that are coming up this year and the major themes that you're likely to see in world events this year and in the economy, and then the key dates of which we're most likely to see major activity. So the particular emphasis here is on Pluto and Uranus because they are in aspect with each other all this year, and then a secondary role with Saturn, and then the key points will be when we talk about when Mars or an eclipse happens, that you're most likely to see major events in the year. So with this, I'm going to sign off, and then you're going to see the chart where I explain the various points in that chart, and I've already itemized the key areas except for the Mars transits. But you'll be able to get approximate date from the chart, which is the most important, and that will come along next. This is the chart of the year 2011. Note up on the upper left that you see the word Pluto, and then up on the top you see the word Uranus. Those are the two major players of the year that are going to create the biggest patterns this year. Pluto has been in Capricorn already since 2008, and it is the major reason why we're seeing the purge of debt and credit across the world, particularly in the United States with the crisis of the financial markets. This continues on. We have not done anything about really purging the debt, so we see more problems with all the currencies and the explosion now of inflation because we're inflating our money and therefore commodities are getting higher. But now it's being joined by Uranus, the planet of change and revolution, and you see the results of what's happening in Egypt. So this is a time when corporations are going to have to change, governments are going to have to change. This is the dynamic that will be going on this year and next year in 2012. And so then we have to look at the additional dynamics that are happening. So look down on the left-hand side and you'll see the word Saturn. Saturn is about tradition, but it is in the sign of Libra, which is balance and justice and fairness. So this is when all the establishments and the corporations and governments are being required to be fair and equitable. We see that with the court judges in the United States having all the lawsuits against the banks for unfair foreclosures that they've been doing. This is the most positive thing we have going on with Egypt, is that we may see those changes very shortly. So let's go on down to the bottom of the chart and look at where I have the word moon wobbles and eclipses. Whenever you have moon wobbles and eclipses, you have major periods of change during that time. So those are going to be little turning crisis points where the things that have been brewing all year come up to a head. Then look up to the top of the chart and you'll see Mars, and Mars is always. Now look up at Mars at the top of the chart. Whenever you have Mars aspects hitting those long-term points of Pluto or Uranus or Saturn, you'll have events. So pay particular attention for Mars when it hits Uranus down at the end of March to early April. That will be our first major event of the year, where I think that Egypt will come up into a critical point where we may have a resolution with a stalemate between the protesters and Mubarak. We will wait until the second quarter of this period of time to go through the other additional aspects for each quarter, but that will give you an overview of the nature of what we're going to be looking at this year. I would think the stock market could possibly still have a crisis during that same time period. So this is the analysis that we have given you for the first quarter of 2011 and an overview of what the fundamental nature of this year will entail. and we're wishing you the very best of fortunes and good luck this year, and we will continue this analysis with the second quarter of 2011, and if there's any other interesting events, we will do periodic videos as we see necessary. So wishing the very best, Naomi Bennett with Learn Astrology Now.